Welcome to the 21 Convention 2017 10-year anniversary in Orlando, Florida. Final day of the event, first speaker of the day. Last year in 2016, I invited for the first time ever a style speaker to this conference, someone to speak on men's style. It had been of increasing interest to me in that year leading up to it, and the previous year as well. The speech and that speaker was great, and he returned this year, kicked ass again. What I never anticipated was how much that speaker would improve my life and impact it, and this business on top of my personal life. The impact of that speaker was tremendous. This past year, I had gotten interested in men's grooming and facial features and everything along those lines, and I wanted to find a speaker on it. I wanted to course correct, just like I had last year with style, something we had ignored for a long time at this convention and in this company. Since meeting the next speaker a couple days ago when he arrived here in Orlando, Florida for the event, I've gotten the exact same feeling that I've had since meeting the style speaker last year, that this guy is about to tremendously improve my personal life and this event and this company and everything we talk about and your guys' lives as well. Without further ado, please help me welcome George Bruno to the stage.
I gotta do this. You gotta enter with Guns N' Roses. I mean, come on, right? Right. Maybe someday I'll actually have Axl open for me. How's that sound? Okay. Hey, listen, I was just walking by the restaurant and Purpose was eating genetics for breakfast. It was weird. We're gonna talk about purposeful grooming today. Purposeful. All right, so you don't have the perfect head of hair, you don't have perfect skin, you don't have the perfect smile. Let's just cry about that. You know what? Who cares? Who cares? You ever hear the phrase, do the best with what you have? Everyone, I like to say that I bring the handsome out of every man and the beautiful out of every woman. I work out of Philadelphia. I have an interesting, eclectic background, 30 years as a commercial actor. If you live anywhere from New York City to Washington, D.C., you see my late-night infomercials. It was a part-time thing. I did it full-time for 5 years. The brokest 5 years of my life. But I've been in the hair industry for 4 decades. Was raised in the industry. My father cuts hair. My mother cuts hair. I know what ugly is, I know what pretty is, I know what handsome is. At 5 years old, I was sweeping the floors of salons and barbershops. Now listen, I'm not gonna hold it against you if you take pictures of me during this and then email them to gb@georgebruno.com. I won't hold it against you if you do that. So that's perfectly okay if you do that for my personal and professional portfolio. That would be awesome. People size you up in 3 to 6 seconds. 3 to 6 seconds. You know, they used to talk about your resume. You got 9 seconds for your resume to work, and then it goes into the don't hire pile. Same thing happens. You sized me up within 3 seconds. I sized you up within 3 seconds. And we come to conclusions based upon how people look. Tanner talked about how people dress, which I need a little bit of help on that. One of the things in my industry, I always talk about dress like the people you want to attract. Groom like the people you want to attract. So I was working one time in a barber shop where everyone's like with baggy pants halfway down their ass and baggy shorts, like mesh shorts and baseball caps on sideways. That kind of, you know the vibe I'm talking about, right? And I'm a shirt and tie guy. And I'll never forget Jose one day coming in with gray dress slacks on, black dress shoes, shined up, nice shirt, pressed. I said, Jose, what's up, my brother? He says, I want to be like you for a day. I said, okay, well, let me know how that works out for you. So, at the end of the day, he says, you know what? I was attracting different people. And it was like a walk-in kind of barber shop where people would come in and pick who they want or whoever was next in line. At the end of the day, Jose said, I made more tips. People perceive me different. I said, dude, that's what happens, man. That's what happens. People treat you like the gentleman that you are, even if you don't know it yet. You hear me? Let me say that again. But this time I'll say it as a directive. Treat a man like the gentleman that he is, even if he doesn't know it yet. So I'm the guy sitting or standing in a barbershop, people come in, and the receptionist says, "Do you have any preferences for stylists?" They go, "I want the guy with the tie." I used to be the guy with the beard. If you follow me on Instagram, @GeorgeABruno, I just took off a beard that was down to my belt buckle. It was a bucket list thing. It was one of those things. You know how I want to go skydiving, I want to go to Amsterdam, one day I want to grow a big, badass, epic beard. And I started a YouTube channel, which you're going to subscribe to, called Gray Bailey, which is just my initials, George Bruno. And I started it for my clientele who have beards. I went from working in the female hair world to the men's hair world, working in salons and barbershops. My nickname in the hair industry is called the Sultan of Silver, not because of my own hair, but because I worked with women with silver hair. And I was talking to Mike McNally of the pro golfer about his McNally method. That's a little consultation that I gave him the other day. I said, find a niche, man. Shave 2 strokes. I said, how many points does it take to win a golf game? You only got to be 1 stroke better than everybody else. I said, then promise 1 stroke better than everybody else and build your business. What I did was I helped women transition from coloring their hair every 6 weeks to going silver. So if you Google silver hair women, silver hair models, I did all their hair. I'm the guy behind all of their hairstyles, the most beautiful ones, and I would say that silver is the new blonde. So when I would get introduced at hair shows, someone said to me, "Oh my God, you're the Sultan of Silver." And I said, "Ooh, that has a ring to it." And everyone eventually thought it was because of my gray hair, but I had that nickname long before I had gray hair. So I made the switch from the women's hair industry to the men's hair industry, which was interesting. And people, like men would always ask grooming questions. And men always ask the same 10 questions all the time, same 10 questions. And we're going to address those during this talk today. So rather than answer the same question 10 million times, I would just make a video, answer, and put it on a YouTube channel. And then every now and then I'd make a comment after that little educational piece, that 2 or 3 minute video. And then all of a sudden 2 or 3 minute videos became 10, 15, 20, 30 minute videos. And I'm giving advice about life, divorce, recovering after heartbreak, recovering after job loss, and then it became a lifestyle channel. And then people accused me of being a beard channel. I'm like, I'm not a beard channel, I'm a lifestyle channel. And then I started smoking cigars on camera. And then I started smoking pipes on camera. And then I gained another 30, thousand followers who are cigar and pipe smokers, and they're accusing me of being a cigar and pipe channel. Not true, it's a lifestyle channel. And of course, that will morph into whatever the heck I want it to morph into. But Anthony and I share similar audiences. There's a big crossover. So if and when I get invited back, I can tell you right now that many of my people will be coming here. I had very short notice to come here, very short notice. And it's an honor to stand in front of you and be with all these wonderful content creators, speakers, and authors. You don't get a second chance to make a first impression because people size you up in 3 seconds. Today's message is called The True Face of Modern Masculinity. And when I say face, I literally mean your face. Number 1, pay attention to details. Pay attention to details. I always like to say, never look like you got a haircut, never look like you need a haircut. Always look good. Some people say, well, I'm going to get a haircut today because I have a speaking engagement 10 days from now. Or I'm going to be on camera 10 days from now. I'm like, really? I don't give haircuts that have a delayed reaction. I want you to look good the minute you step out of my chair. That's what I want. There's this myth that your haircut's going to look good a week later. You know who perpetuates that myth? Barbers. They allow people, they hear that, and then they allow people to keep that going. That is not true. If you are going to a barber or stylist, don't wait a week. It's not a delayed reaction. You know, if your haircut is not Guns N' Roses when you step out of the chair, then you need to find a new barber or stylist. Period. You don't give them a second chance. And if they don't listen to you, you don't give them a second chance. My consult is up to 20 minutes long, and I'm going to share that with you. Your attention to detail equals money. That's bottom line. Bottom line, money. Everybody here wants money. Everybody here wants money. You need money. Money is a good thing. Love of money, not so good. Money, good. Got it? Money, good. Love of money, not good. You need money. Well, there's other things more important. No, there's not. You want to be helpful? It takes money. Are you a missionary? Do you print Bibles? God doesn't drop them out of the sky. Are you a relief person? Do you provide relief for needy people? That doesn't drop out of the sky. It takes this. So everything you do should affect your income. Bottom line, it's an unconscious message. When you are detail-oriented with the way you look, from the neck up, Tanner's the neck down guy. I'm the neck up guy. We're probably going to be doing seminars together in the next year somehow, some way. When you pay attention to details from the neck up, what that communicates unconsciously to other people is, especially people who you will work for, whether you're in the financial industry, whether you are in front of people, whether you are closing sales, it tells them that you are detail-oriented without saying it. Some people say, well, you can't have a beard in this industry. Oh, really? You know what? If your beard is on point and totally Guns N' Roses, you are going to be effective in any industry. Now, if you look like Aqualung, that's going to be a different story. And I got accused of that. It's so funny. I'd say like in another month or so, I tell this story here with tears in my eyes because I auditioned for the most interesting man in the world, and I auditioned for the Trivago guy, and I see nothing but Trivago guy, and for 8 years, nothing but Jonathan Goldsmith saying, "Stay thirsty, my friends." And every time Jonathan Goldsmith says, "Stay thirsty, my friends," I hear him say, "I got this job and you didn't." But I'm happy to say that I auditioned for it. That's kind of cool. And then the creepy Trivago guy, I don't know, it's something about him. Just Google creepy Trivago guy. He's got like this whole like anti-following. And I think because they had a contract with him, they're afraid to get rid of him, so now they brought in the Aussie girl who's like really pretty and easy to look at. So he still kind of creeps me out. That's just me though. I mean, you might think he's cool. The unconscious message that you are detail-oriented. If you are in the financial industry, what they think is this guy is going to be good with my money because he's detail-oriented. Does it go to blue collar? Hell yeah. Are you an auto mechanic? This guy is going to be great with my car because he's detail-oriented. Do you detail cars for a living? They're going to say, this guy is good. So you need to be detail-oriented in the way that you look. Does it mean that you shouldn't have an off day? Of course, if you're not on camera, which most of you aren't, which means look good every day. Every day. You know why? You don't owe it to yourself to have an off day. Do you hear me? You don't owe it to yourself to have a cheap haircut. What do they say? I got this from the tattoo world. Good tattoos aren't cheap, and cheap tattoos aren't good. Let's bring that over to the hair world. Good haircuts aren't cheap, and cheap haircuts aren't good. I have sat in over 260 chairs. A lot of people, before they go on trips, before they travel, they get tuned up by a stylist or a barber before their trip. I wait till I go on a trip, in whatever city I'm in, I find a stylist or a barber that I want to sit in their chair. So I've sat just around the corner. There's kind of like this little hood shop around here with blasting hip hop, and I walked in, and all of a sudden everyone went quiet. Someone said it was like the scratching record, and everything got quiet. And like they thought I was going to ask them for directions. I said, yeah, can someone here line up my beard? And all of a sudden, whew, he's not a cop, okay. So then the music started again. So I went around the corner here on my first day just to get lined up a little bit. And that young man, if you follow my Instagram, at George A. Bruno, I took a picture with that young man. And he taught me a few things, because I learned from everybody. You know, Galileo said, I never met a man so ignorant that I couldn't learn something from him. And I'm not saying the young man was ignorant. What I'm saying is that I learned from everybody. I'm a student of everybody. I teach a lot. I've stood in front of groups of 10,000 people in stadiums. When I'm on TV, there's millions of people watching me. But I'm also a student, so strive to be a student. And I learned something from him. He was my 260th chair that I've sat in. Can you imagine that? I've been in every chair from a $250 stylist in New York to an $8 haircut at Hair Butchery. I won't say the name. And you know what I'm talking about. My family lives here in Melbourne Beach, Florida. I spent a couple days with them before I came here, and at the Melbourne Mall there was a little salon that does $5 haircuts. And I had to go and do a selfie with the $5 haircut sign, like that. And you'll see that on my Instagram, at George A. Bruno. And I thought to myself, well, that's interesting. And it said, we work only on tips. So the $5 goes to the salon owner. I thought that was kind of interesting. And my father, who's been cutting hair for over 60 years, gave me a haircut. I'm like, damn it, I should have waited and got a $5 haircut. And that would have been a blast to just kind of ask the stylist in Spanish, can I set up my phone and record the haircut? Because I think that would have been a blast to record the $5 haircut and then, do a video on that. But here's the funny thing. Across the street from the mall was a $3 haircut place. Woo! All right, race to the bottom. Never compete on price. Come on, guys. Compete on quality and value. Forget the price thing. People are willing to pay if you provide value and quality, and we're going to get into that. If you provide a purpose, which is what I do when I cut people's hair. Men, when I made the switch from cutting the hair and styling up the most beautiful silver-haired women in the world, which you can see at my website, which is a blog, georgebruno.com, and my Instagram, at George A. Bruno. And my YouTube channel, which is the most important, and it is monetized. Thank you very much. When I made the switch from doing women's hair to men's hair, I started doing beards. I've cut over 10,000 beards. You know, Malcolm Gladwell says if you do something for 10,000 hours, you become an expert at it. So what I built up was a following that comes from 7 countries and 17 states. Men will fly into Philadelphia, take an Uber to King of Prussia, PA, get a haircut and a beard trim, take an Uber back to the airport, and fly back to Austin. Where I work, they're like, what do you mean people come from other states? I said, because I offer quality. I offer value. Happens all the time. Celebrities, sportscasters, broadcasters, names, and one of the things that I do is I don't reveal the names, but I cut the hair of some huge people, huge, I'm talking top 10 people in the media. And I don't do the selfies with them. because they want privacy, and I provide privacy. That's what I do. But groom with a purpose. Groom with a purpose. In other words, groom with the end result in mind. When you buy a drill, what are you really buying? A hole. A hole. You're buying the result of what it can produce. In the innovation world, they call that reverse engineering, starting with the end in mind. That's why my consult is 20 minutes. Consult is just a fancy word for pre-service interview. If this is the mirror right here, I don't sit you in the chair and talk to you in the mirror. I slide up a stool, and I get on your level, and I look in your eye, and I say, good morning. You take a breath, shake a hand, and then I say, how can I help you today? What I don't do is look at you in the mirror and say, so what are we doing today? And you know your stylist and barber does that. They're like everyone else. They want to be different like everybody else, right? So how I demonstrate it is I dress like the people I want to attract. When I was working in a $12, $14, $17 barbershop many, many years ago, I was walking in looking like Vidal Sassoon. They're like, why do you dress like that? Why do you dress like that? And they'd break my chops. And then a Lamborghini would pull up, and some smartass would say, that must be one of George's clients. You know what? That's what you want people saying about you. That must be one of your clients, the guy in the Ferrari, because you cultivated that audience. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen by accident. It happens on purpose, intentionally. Dress like the people you want to attract. I like to provide purposeful services. I like to say that my haircuts help you land the job, close the sale, and get the girl. Kind of like a headhunter, isn't it? Think about how much a headhunter gets paid to place you in a corporate job. Think about that. I can help you get that job better than the headhunter because I help you make an impact in the first 3 seconds. That headhunter will do an hour and a half interview with you and drill you, do an interview, practice interview kind of thing. Oh, really? Who was it that yesterday said, I guess was it Ross that talked about when you go fishing, do you put the food that you like on the hook? No, you put the bait on the hook that the fish likes. I got into birds about 10 years ago. Bird feeders, bird bath, bird houses in my backyard. And I discovered there's no such thing as one bird seed fits all. You want to attract bigger birds, you put in the sunflower seeds. You get the beautiful cardinals, you get the blue jays. You want to attract songbirds, you put in the thistle seed, the pretty, bright finches. And I have different bird feeders with different birds. What do you want to attract in your life? Use a different bird seed. You want people to have a different opinion of you? Switch up your style and make sure it's a purposeful style. Do you want to land the job, close the sale, and get the girl? Switch it up. It works. Number 3, and this is a theme in this movement with this audience and in this world. Be the best version of yourself. You've probably heard that 20 times already in the past few days. It's a common theme. In my world, it's called optimization. Optimization means tuning the nuances that communicate strongly. How can you be the best version of yourself? Richard Cooper, where is he? Mentioned about putting the proper fuel in your vehicle. You're not going to put Coca-Cola in a Ferrari. You're going to put the proper fuel to make it run properly. The proper fuel in your body is going to make you run optimally. No pings and dings and all kinds of, okay? You've all put cheap gas in your car. Why would you put cheap gas in your body? You want it to run optimally. That's being the best version of yourself. My optimization in my industry is called what I call the holy trinity of handsome. And for most of the world, handsome is defined as people like George Clooney, John Hamm, who plays Don Draper, Ryan Gosling, David Beckham, Ryan Seacrest, clients of mine. All sat in my chair. I know a gal that likes Lyle Lovett. She says he is sexy. I look at Lyle Lovett and I go, whew, Jesus, hide all the damn mirrors. All right? But I saw him in concert, and I'm like, damn. And I'm a straight dude, and I'm like, damn, he's kind of got it going on. And it ain't about his face. It's about something that he possesses. He's different, and he's got it together. I had a client that when he was 2 years old, he had brain surgery, a scar from one ear to the other. They peeled back his scalp. Did brain surgery, sewed it up, stitches. He had long hair, obviously, because he had a zipper going from one ear to the other. He chose me. I helped him hide that scar for many years. One day he came in and said, I want a short haircut. I said, you sure you want to do that? I go, do you realize, and he knew what I was getting at. I said, your scar is going to show. And his words, because I'm a student of everybody, his words changed my life. He says, I decided to embrace what makes me different. You don't have to look like George Clooney. You don't have to look like Ryan Seacrest, Ryan Gosling, David Beckham, John Hamm. You don't have to have classic handsome in order to be handsome. Embrace what makes you different. I work with people's facial hair. Well, son of a gun. Some people can't grow a beard. You know what? Rock whatever you got. Rock whatever you... Look at Kid Rock. Can't grow a full beard. Do you think he looks good? I do. Look at Bob Seger in the 70s. Remember the Night Moves album? Kind of like a half-ass, goatee-ish kind of thing. Is he any less cool because he can't grow a full beard? Hell no. I still listen to Bob Seger music. Act confident. Handsome is about confident. It's about the nuances that are communicated through your confidence. You'll get the positive results and the confident man's reward when you act confident. I remember years ago I was volunteering at a drug and alcohol rehab, and they were on probation. They had to be there, and they had to sit up straight, and they had to take notes, and they had to be awake. One guy was in the front row like this. I found out after my talk that he got some kind of negative write-up or something like that. And I'll never forget what he told the counselor who wrote him up. He says, I was just resting my eyes, man. I wasn't sleeping. Dude, but you looked like you were sleeping, so you got the sleeping man's reward. Act confident, even if you are not, and you'll get the confident man's reward. Do you hear me? You'll get the confident man's reward. It's not about, I'm an introvert. I'm not good with people. We'll keep saying that. Just keep drilling that thing into your head that you're not confident and that you're just an introvert. Who gives a shit about that? I don't. Act it. If you're not confident, take acting lessons, because no one will be able to tell the difference if you are or aren't unless you tell them. You got it? The Holy Trinity of handsome. I used to give this talk to women, the Holy Trinity of beautiful. Number one is smile. Your teeth. Your smile is the key that unlocks doors to success. You get more done with a smile than a frown. But we look at magazine ads of people standing like, Not cool. Your smile opens up doors of opportunity. Not smirks. Not smirks. A smirk is a smile with no teeth. You don't want that. Who smirks? People who are up to something. People who have something to hide. Who smiles? People who are open. People who want to hear what you have to say. Teeth must be white. There was a time when you'd have to pay $700 to $1,200 to have white teeth. Now you can go to Walmart and get a teeth whitening kit for $7. Teeth need to be white. Teeth need to be white. Teeth need to be tight. No summer teeth. You guys know what summer teeth are, right? Some are here, some are there. Teeth need to be white, teeth need to be tight, and teeth need to be bright. I know from the acting world, and working with many models, taking a little bit of Vaseline on your palm of your hand and rubbing it across because it reflects the lights and makes your teeth look whiter and brighter. That's a Miss America tip. Your smile is the key that opens up doors of opportunity. Skin. The only thing you need to know is clean it and protect it, which means moisturize. That's too chickified. All right, mummy. Your goal is not to race to the bottom and have a race to ugly, all right? Lyle Lovett, damn it, moisturizes his face. Clean your skin, use a cleanser, not Dial, not Irish Spring. I know it only costs 99 cents or $1.29. Get a cleanser that doesn't strip the natural oils off your face. Protect it with a nice moisturizer. And then the third item of the holy trinity of handsome is your hair. If your hair, skin, and smile could talk, what would it say? Let's see. For most people, their hair, skin, and smile says this. This old house. You don't want that. When you walk into a party or a job interview, you want your hair to sound like this. Got it? All right? You remember Name That Tune? 2 notes. Bam, bam. All right? That's what you want your skin, hair, and smile to do. You don't want someone to go, is he or isn't he handsome? You want them to go, wow. There's no mistaking Led Zeppelin when you hear them. Am I right? There's no mistaking it. No mistaking it. And there's no mistaking handsome. Now, handsome and masculine go hand in hand. That's important. What is masculine? I got into an argument with a guy on Instagram. My Instagram is @GeorgeABruno. And he said, well, didn't you let your daughter put ribbons in your hair and paint your nails when she was a little girl? I'm like, no. No. What the hell is that all about? I'd be like, no, honey, I have 3 kids, a 21-year-old daughter, an 18-year-old son, and a 14-year-old son. No, I didn't. No, honey, men don't do that. Men don't do that. Girls do that. Go to mommy. Mommy will do that with you. But I won't. I don't play that game. What is masculine? It's like pornography. I know it when I see it. I know it when I see it. People say, define masculine. It's got nothing to do with muscles. It's got nothing to do with tattoos and beards and tough guy. But you know it when you see it, don't you? And so do women. So don't hide your masculinity. Don't confuse masculinity with asshole either. You hear me? You can be a gentleman. Because I said to you, treat a man like the gentleman that he is, even if he doesn't know it yet. You are in a unique position in your life to teach and be taught. You are in a unique position. Even if you are, I know there's people here who are divorced a long time, me, 14 years divorced, and people who've been divorced a week. The guy that's divorced a week is an expert on divorce to the guy who's been divorced for a day. You have something to teach everybody. What can I teach? I have nothing to teach anybody. Yes, you do. You're smarter than people in something. Something. So what's the best haircut? Let me tell you this. There's the best haircut, and then there's the best haircut for you. I had an Asian guy come sit in my chair once. He says, oh, I want to show you what I want here. I said, okay, all right. And he pulled up a picture of Brad Pitt. I said, dude, let's just Google the phrase handsome Asian guy and see handsome Asian guy haircuts, all right? I'm a stylist, not a damn magician. I practice haircutting, not voodoo. So let's get realistic with what we want. You have to do the best with what you have. Do the best with what you have. So let's talk about the best haircut for you. It's based upon many factors. Your face shape. If you have a round face, you can counter that roundness with a squarer beard, a more angular beard. I take all these factors into consideration when I am working with people. Do they do that at hair butchery? I don't think so. Does your barber or stylist do that? Probably not. Most likely not. Why do people come from 7 countries and 17 states to Philadelphia to get a haircut and a damn beard trim from me? Because I spend time with them. I explore what they want. I give them purposeful haircuts. Remember, I like to brag that my haircuts help you get the job, close the sale, and get the girl. Length of your neck. Some people have long necks, some people have shorter necks. If you have a beard and you like to line your beard up, here's a little guideline. If you have a longer neck, you find your Adam's apple, your bottom line is 2 fingers above your Adam's apple. If you're a stockier, shorter guy, 1 finger above your Adam's apple. And don't go up. Don't make a U-shaped, go straight across. Because you want that hair that kind of goes back underneath your earlobe. That's like the balls of your beard. Don't castrate your beard, guys. I've seen so many, and you know who perpetuates this is friggin' stylists. You go to a girl, you sit in a girl's chair, she knocks that off right away. Oh, we'll just take, zzz. You're like, shit, you just took my balls off. Don't feminize your damn beard. God gave you a beard. Rock it, and rock it properly. All right? Density of hair. Some people have thick hair, some people have not so thick hair. Do you like the nice way that I said that, not so thick hair? 4, coarseness of hair. Coarseness is literally how coarse or soft it is. It's funny, when I had a black beard, when I started going gray, the gray was like wire. It was like, I'm like, damn, dink. Like in Bugs Bunny when they pull hair out, it always goes dink. What is that, like a piano string that they do, or like a string on a violin? Dink. And I was like, crap. My gray hair has a different structure. It's different than my dark hair. There was a time when I had dark hair, like many of you young guys. And what's interesting is, as it turned gray, my entire beard turned gray, I thought, oh, I'm going to have this big coarse beard. Now, when I have a big beard, it's soft as silk. Soft as silk. When it was a little bit longer, people would come up to me, like I'd be sitting in a bar, this little rock and roll bar that I go to, and try to be incognito. And a chick would come up to me and say, "Stay thirsty, my friend." I was like, yeah. But here's the deal. When people say that to you, when a chick says that to you, you gotta like, for you guys that have beards, you gotta act like it's the first time you heard it. Like, oh, yeah, that Dos Equis guy. Yeah, I get, stay thirsty, my friend. Yeah, all right, okay, cool. I don't go out to cars often, but when I do, it's with you. And then when it got longer, chicks would come up and say, "I've been a good girl all year." And I come to realize that was like Santa. So I went from cool to Santa. And I'm like, okay, this is like getting not cool now. And then when it got to be Gandalf, and people started opening doors for me. "Here you go, sir." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." I had a new neighbor move in, and I'm out shoveling my driveway because I live in hell. You didn't know hell has snow, did you? It does. You've been lied to all these years. Hell has snow, and it's called Philadelphia. And if you live north of that, you're in a deeper level of hell. And I was wearing a hooded sweatshirt. I call them hooded sweatshirts, not hoodies. I just want to make that clear. I call them hooded sweatshirts. I had a hooded sweatshirt on, and I'm out shoveling my driveway. And the new neighbor, who's 65 years old. Now, my age, I'm closer to 60 than I am to 50, but here's this old guy coming up. "Oh, sir." Now, here I am with the hooded sweatshirt on and a big white beard coming out, shoveling snow. In the dark, what do I look like? I look like I'm 90. I'm going to go get my shovel. I'll be right back. I'm going to help you with that. And I'm like, I'm really young. I'm not as old as you think. How you look is going to determine people's reactions towards you. So I enjoyed Gandalf for a while. I'll never forget when I took the beard off and I saw the neighbor. He's just looking at me, "Motherfucker. You're not a 90-year-old fucking aqualung." How you look is going to have an impact on how people treat you. 5, the growth pattern. I look at your growth pattern. Everyone's got a swirl, right? What do we call them? Cowlicks. Everyone's got them. Mostly everybody. Richard Cooper doesn't have one. So, but he's got a badass look. He doesn't need a cowlick. So here's the deal. When you go to a barber or stylist and they are cutting your hair and they take clippers to your cowlick, you might as well just wait 2 months for that sucker to grow in because you're going to end up with this rooster tail kind of thing. If they're not cutting that cowlick with scissors and they're cutting it with clippers, you're getting jacked up. They better pay you instead of you paying them. That's why I like doing scissor cuts as opposed to clipper cuts. I feel that scissors create, for me, clipper cut, this is just my personal preference. Remember that kid in The Sixth Sense? Remember that little boy who said, "I see dead people"? I'm kind of like him, except I see bad haircuts. So,
what's the difference between a scissor cut and a clipper cut? How do you know what you're getting?
2 blades and 48 blades. Clippers, the blades are moving at 16,000 RPMs. And once hair is off, you can't put it back on. It takes off hair really, really quick. And with scissors, I can pay much more attention to detail. As a matter of fact, I used to brag that my haircuts last longer because they lay nicer when you cut them with scissors. I think clipper cuts have like a mowed lawn look. I got a lawn Nazi across the street from where I live. He mows his lawn in 3 different directions. He goes this way, he goes this way, and then he does that diagonal thing. I'm like, really, dude? For real? And to me, that's what I see when I see clipper cuts. I see the mowed lawn. And then the half-assed detailers. Oh, we'll just cut those sideburns. You know. the best stylists in the world don't do that. When you put a line in, when you make a perfect line somewhere, in about 3 days, when that starts to grow out, it looks like shit. I like to cut a cowlick. I'm going to show you just in a second here. Excuse me 1 second while I go and get a little head. All right. What were you thinking? Dirty minds. Most people have their cowlick right here. So what I would do is, if this is a dude in the chair, I pretend there's a wagon wheel, and the hub, which is the center of the wagon wheel, goes right in the middle of that cowlick. So I take my comb and scissors, and I go up each spoke. And I lift up as I get closer to that hub. And that lays very nicely. That's important that they do that. If they're just like, zzz, you end up with a rooster tail, like I said, for a month. This is Dirk Diggler right here. I left this in the bathroom. Now, I travel with severed heads. And this even scares me at times. I mean, honestly, it's a mannequin head that helps you style. That's what we use to practice haircuts. If I come up with a new style, this guy started out with a beard down to here, and his hair was down to here. Looked like an Old Testament prophet. And he ended up with this, which is one of my latest styles. But what's interesting is, wherever if I don't put this like jihadi hood on him, or Antifa, if I don't put this Pantifa hood on him, I could have this in my house. And if I'm doing something and I see this out of the corner of my eye, it doesn't register to my brain as cosmetology mannequin head. It registers in my brain as severed head. All right, so all the heads that I have around my house scare the shit out of me all the time, so I got to cover them up. So I was blow drying this dude's hair up in my hotel room, and I put it on the vanity in the bathroom. And the maid supervisor came in, and she said, I'm just checking to see how the girls are doing. And she walked past the bathroom. She goes, ah! Like that. I said, I'm in the hair industry. She goes, I said, don't worry about it. So it always registers as severed head. It helps more, like if you put ketchup down here and just like put it on the side, or hold it up like this, you know. Color pattern is important. Everyone, people say, I want my hair to turn gray like you. And I said, well, okay. How did your mom and dad go gray? Because you're going to be a blend of how your mother and father went gray. If they have it, or if you can remember, see pictures of them, whatever. Lifestyle and career. The guy that wears a hard hat every day, I'm going to cut his hair a little bit differently. People who wear hats all day long, I can feel their head and feel, like that band inside of a hard hat. I can feel where that thing is. It's like a permanent groove in their head if they've been wearing hard hats for 10 years, 20 years. So I have to take that into consideration. There's the baseball cap piece. I'm a baseball cap guy. I always put baseball cap on. And I'm always making sure that I take it off before I get the groove, the baseball cap groove in my head. So that's part of your lifestyle and career consult. What do you do for a living? That's important. I want to make sure that you look proper for your career and your lifestyle. I like to give people, and your barber or stylist should do the same thing, should give you 2 to 3 styles. Your everyday, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 style, and going out and having fun and going on a date style. So you should be able to have multiple purposes for your haircuts. Never get a type of haircut where you're locked into just one style, one look. It helps you be less bored with how you look and less bored with with what you're doing and just less bored with yourself. Commitment. How much time are you willing to commit? Are you a blow dryer guy? Are you willing to spend 5 minutes blowing your hair in the direction that you want it to go in? I don't care what direction your hair is in, I can make it stand up straight with a blow dryer. And the type of blow dryer you should get should have a cool shot button on it, which is just a button that turns off the heating element. Garden hoses in the winter are stiff, right? But they're flexible in the summer. Hair is like your garden hose. Heat makes it more flexible. The cool shot button freezes it, quote unquote, freezes it. You want to make it stand up in the front a little bit, blow it up with warm air, hit the cool shot button for 5 seconds, it stays up there. When you learn to master that cool shot button, you can create any style you want. Okay? How should you blow dry your hair? I like, get out of the shower, dry yourself off, towel dry, go get dressed, come back in front of the mirror. At that point, your hair is 80% dry, 20% damp. That's a good time. If you style your hair, start brushing it and combing it before that time, then you're damaging hair. You know, wet hair stretches one third long. If I took a hair that's this long and wet it, I can stretch it this long. When you stretch hair, it'll break. You know what hair looks like? If I had a telephone pole here and I put roofing shingles on it, that's what your hair looks like under a microscope. It looks like shingles. That's called the cuticle. When those little shingles kind of come up and start splitting away from the hair, what do we call that? Split ends. So the idea, it's like, how many here have cats? You got cats? Do you ever pet a cat's tail or pet it the wrong way? That's what you do to your hair. When you pet a cat's tail the wrong way, it sticks up. It's not sleek and smooth. That's why we need to make sure hair is dry and not vulnerable and not stretchy, and you won't damage it. So how much time are you willing to commit every morning? Are you just towel dry and get out of Dodge in the morning, or do you want to spend 5 minutes? It only takes 5 minutes to optimize your style. Or learn to do that on a date, Friday night, Saturday night when you're going out. Women notice the difference. Commitment to style. Because you're into purposeful appearances. How committed are you to your purposeful appearance? Okay? Like that Led Zeppelin song. Just like the Led Zeppelin song, your haircut does this. Okay? It does that. You knew that song after 2 notes. People know who you are in a second or 2. I said 3 to 6, just to be nice to you. But people formulate opinions with 2 notes. They size you up quickly. Remember, there's drying your hair, there is application of product, and we do that whole wagon wheel thing. A lot of guys will just put pomade, paste, or cream on their hands and put it through their hair. You're only coating one side of the hair. What I want you to do, when I got a guy in the chair and I'm applying product after a haircut, I go up each spoke of the wagon wheel and I get it through his head and make sure it's everywhere, and then I will do the styling. Remember, application of product and styling are 2 different activities. Super important. And then finally, the last thing, the proper product. Not everybody should be using, there's a product out there called Fiber. Some of you have seen it. American Crew makes it. It's a great product, but it's not for everybody. There's products out there like Lay Right and Ruzel and all kinds. Don't use a girl's products on your hair. A lot of guys will just use girlfriend or wife's products. Get your own products. Man up, will you? Get your own products. And don't use the purple blow dryer. Get your own. diamond plate. What do you look for in a stylist or barber? Number one, open mind. I do consults by phone and by Skype. People say, how do you do a haircut consult? I said it's more of a style consult from the neck up. And I teach you what to tell your barber or stylist, what you want. You want them to have an open mind. A 2 on the sides and a 4 on top is not a haircut. So what are we doing today? Give me a 2 on the sides and a 4 on top. That's not a haircut. A monkey can do that. You can do that to yourself. That's not a haircut. Your stylist needs the ability to ask questions and then listen to your answers. They need to ask questions and then listen to their answers. If you think that they're ignoring you, go somewhere else. You're paying them for a service. They need to teach you how to use product and give you 2 to 3 styles. Super important. Super important. Everybody here, even like the buzz cut and shaved head guys, have different styles, okay? If you have a shaved head, you could go with a 3-day shadow, which is a completely different vibe, isn't it? Completely different look than just your classic shaved head. So don't think that you have to have a full head of hair to have multiple styles. You want your barber stylist to have artistic and or creative skills appropriate to the medium, which is your hair. The 4 worst haircuts that I ever gave, I remember, I can still picture them, were when I gave the client exactly what they wanted. Some people don't know what to ask for. I could teach you what to ask for. When I go and sit, I like going to stylists that have a full mirror in front of me, like the mirror in your hotel room, and not just a mirror, that's dresser height. Why? Because when I have somebody in front of a full-length mirror, you know what they do? They sit up straighter. It's a fact. When you see your full form, you sit up straighter. Wherever I go anywhere, I give off vibes that I'm in the hair industry. Halfway through a haircut, someone says, "Are you in the hair industry?" I'm like, "How did you guess?" They're like, "You're sitting up straight, and you're like a statue. You're not moving." I'm like, "I'm busted. Yeah, I'm in the hair industry." So sit up straight, no slouching, no surfing your phone, your smartphone while you're in the chair. Let the artist do their work. Do you hear me? Artist, not technician. Any monkey can be technical with a haircut. And then, last thing, remember this. You want your style to say, act as if you already possess the end result. That's important. I did a quick thing with guys where when I teach at beauty schools and academies, I say to them, I go, walk outside the door and come back in, and I use their price that they charge, let's say a $20 haircut. Show me how you walk into work in the morning. They come in like this. I said, okay, I'm going to wave my magic wand. You now do $1,000 haircuts. Walk at work in the morning. It's like, whoa, now isn't that something? They stand up straighter. They don't talk shit. They look better. And you know what? When you reverse engineer that in your life, you start attracting those things in your life. Don't wait to start making $1,000 a haircut before you start looking like you charge $1,000 a haircut. And that applies to every single thing that you do. You want people to say, there's something about that man. Something about him. I don't know what it is, but there's something about him. And if you want one-to-one coaching, grooming, style, on what I call purposeful grooming, email me, gb@georgebruno.com. I hope this was helpful. How did I do? Good? Don't forget my YouTube channel. I would love you to subscribe. It's called Gray Bailey, and it's me just talking shit. It's like you and me. It's on YouTube. What's that?
What's your Instagram?
Oh, and the Instagram, funny that you mention it, that's at George A. Bruno. And George Bruno at Twitter. Just Google the shit out of me. I'm everywhere. I dominate. I dominate the George Brunos of this world. Oh, great story. There's George Bruno, who was a senator up in New Hampshire. And talk about procrastination. One time I forgot to renew my domain name, and George Bruno, the senator, who's now an ambassador to Belize, got georgebruno.com because I procrastinated, which really sucked. But you know what? Everybody procrastinates. So I waited 2 years, and I back ordered the domain because I just knew that mother was going to forget. When the date came up, bam! georgebruno.com came back to me. Dominate your name on the web. Get your name as a domain. Get it. It'll serve you well. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Quick Q&A. I'll take a couple. Yes, sir.
Your client, you talked about value and quality, but how much do your high-paying clients come to you just because for your charisma, which you have, and did you work on that deliberately or through acting, or did you have it naturally? And also a related question, how much do you have small talk with your clients? And when we go and get a haircut, like do you talk, or do you want to be working on the guy's hair?
Let me put it this way. Your first question, a little bit of everything. I'm an introvert. If I'm not in front of people or in front of a camera somewhere, I'm usually I love solitude. I love being by myself. I am my own best friend. I love reading. I love being by myself. So in order for me to be Mr. Charisma, like a judge told me in custody court, that mother, oh, I can't say it because this is digital lives forever. When he was giving the custody pronouncement, he said, "Mr. Bruno, you're personable and charismatic, but not to me." I love that. I've been quoting him forever. I rise to the occasion. I'm a quiet person. I don't seek attention in any way, believe it or not. Everything that I do is a huge act, so to speak, because I love solitude and I love being by myself. That doesn't mean I can't mix with people and shake hands and be the top networker in the room, but I do what I have to do. Yeah. As far as how I talk, I don't want to talk a lot of shit. People aren't paying me to talk shit. When people come from 7 countries and 17 states to sit in my chair, many people, I remember one place I was working while someone was waiting, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to be sitting in the chair of the Sultan of Silver," and the manager of the salon said, "What the fuck is he talking about?" He said, "Why are all your friggin' people giddy when they get here?" And I said, "Well, it's like YouTube thing," and he's like, "What are you talking?" I'm like, "Forget it, whatever." So I'm starting a thing in a salon soon called Quiet Mondays, where all we say is hello and goodbye. Seriously, I'm having Quiet Mondays where people come. There are some people who just, do you ever see that one little meme that shows a woman going, "Oh, chatty barbers." I'm not a chatty guy. So I just want you to get the best. I don't want to be distracted, so I just get the best, create the best environment for myself. All right, we're wrapping it up. I'll take questions outside. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.